Marshall, star defensive player Mike Green led the nation in sacks with 17 in 2024. And down here in Mobile, he's one of the hottest names that you need to be watching. We're going to talk about this and more coming up next.
You are Locked On NFL Draft, your daily podcast covering the NFL Draft. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast, your daily podcast covering your favorite draft prospects, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your boy, Damian Parson. I am an offensive draft analyst over with Bleacher Report. And guys, thank you for tapping in with us 5 days a week, every single day, being our everydayers and making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day. On today's show, to kick off the first day of practice at the Senior Bowl, we're talking about the 2025 defensive prospects that you need to be watching this entire week. Guys, I'm telling you, have a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of fun on this show. But before we can get into that, Super Bowl 59 is here, and there's no better way to make every play more exciting than with FanDuel Sportsbook. New customers can bet $5, and if you win, you'll score $200 in bonus bets. Download the app or head over to FanDuel.com to get started. Defensive prospects that you need to watch: Mike Green, the edge rusher for the Marshall Herd, I believe it is Marshall Thundering Herd. He came into 6'3" down here in Mobile at the Senior Bowl, 250 pounds. Let me tell you something, guys. This young man, he led the nation in sacks, and for a reason. We talk about Princely Umami Ellen. We talk about all these different edge rushers in this group. Guys that just bend, they have that first step quickness and just different things of that nature and how they win. But for me, watching Mike Green, this guy is impressive. He's impressive. And I think the biggest thing for him, guys, if he didn't play at Marshall and he played at Alabama, he'd be probably a lock for top 10. Let's be honest about it. Like if that were the case, but he plays for Marshall. This is going to be a lot of people's first time getting the opportunity to just sit down and watch this young man go to work. And I think the one-on-ones are going to be major for him to just showcase that full. He has arguably the best ghost move, the best ghost punch move in all of college football and all of this entire draft class, right? Again, Jim Nagy tweeted it out. Guys, he came in at 6'3", 6031, so 6'3", verified, 251 pounds, 32 2/8 on the arms. So good enough arm length. He came in at the requisite size at 251. That's what people were worried about with Mike Green. Like, is he going to be big enough? Is he going to have the body type we want? And that ability to throw that ghost punch and then dip, because that ghost punch, initiating the ghost punch forces the offensive tackle to counter with his punch. So when he throws his punch, that ghost punch, and then he dips underneath the arm, he clears that offensive tackle, and he's in the backfield. His bend, his burst, his acceleration, all those things is there. The agility, it's there. I think Mike Green, like I said, 17 sacks on the season. I think he's got a chance. We talk about Princely and Nick Scourton, and somehow when we talked about the edge rush group guys and the guys we talked about at the top, we forgot about Mike Green. That's on your boy DP. I will rectify that today and say if he does what he needs to do, dominates the one-on-ones. I always go back to watching what Jermaine Johnson did 2-3 years ago, right? Watching what he did and how he dominated every rep almost. Leatu Latu, the way he was, like, he didn't dominate every single rep, but he had some outstanding reps last year. All I'm saying is simple. Mike Green, dip, bend, ghost punch, agility, right? Ankle flexion, fluidity, those things he brings to the table, guys. But the guy who's second behind him, Donovan Ezeroku, coming out of Boston College, this young man also another guy that can get after the passer. He came in a little bit lighter, but longer arms. He came in at 6'022", verified per Jim Nagy, 248 pounds verified, with an arm length of 34 4/8. So this young man comes in with good arm length. He's got that quick first step as well, and can really threaten that outside, dip and bend around the edge, knows how to use his hands. But having that almost like that over 34 inches on the arms is big time for an edge rusher, guys. And I think that's a That's a great thing for him to have, right? Because then just when you get the long arm, you can, especially as a run defender, being able to stack guys, get full extension, full arm extension, stack, peak, shed, do the things that we need you to do, right? I just think that with this edge rush group that we're gonna have down here, man. I'm excited for it, guys. I'm excited for it, man, because we know about some of the top names in this class, Princely and all. We talked about those guys. Another guy, Josiah Stewart. Guys, I'm telling you now, man, like Josiah Stewart's another dude who gets after it. He gets after it. I don't see his verified measurements just yet, but this is a guy like coming out of college, coming out of Michigan. He started his career at Coastal Carolina. So he was a what do you call it, mid-major. He was a mid-major guy for a little bit, and he transferred to Michigan, and he has had some good success on that team. And I also think, you look at, of course, the gravity of a Mason Graham and what he brings to the table. Yes, we know Mason Graham is going to make everybody's lives a lot easier. But Josiah Stewart is that shorter, low center of gravity, stocky build type of edge rusher. And I think the main thing for him is going to be the run downs. On the season, he had 9 sacks, 8 QB hits, 20 pressures. He had a pass rush win rate of 27.1 on true dropback sets. 7 of his 9 sacks, 6 of his 8 QB hits, and 13 of his 20 pressures came on true dropback sets. When he has to pin his ears back, his pass rush win rate jumps from 27% to 40%. 6'1", 245. Again, this is a guy that just gets after it, does a great job putting pressure on opposing offensive tackles and having that lower center of gravity. So you think about guys being 6'5", 6'6", 6'7". It's hard to get to his level because he's shorter. He's more compact. He's playing upward. He's attacking you vertically, working up into your chest plate and into your pad level while you are trying to work down and bury him, snatch traps, power moves, different things of that nature. And yeah, I think those are that's just what it is, guys. But let's keep going. Talking about that in this first topic here, edges. Got into a couple edge guys. We'll get into linebackers too. Let's talk about one of the guys. Shout out to my guy, Lance Zerline, man. I'm trying to get Lance on the show, talk some ball with us. Demetrius Knight Jr. out of South Carolina, out my neck of the woods, right? You would think I would have got eyes on him first. I've seen him, but I never did a deep dive. 6'2", 245, I believe, listed at right now. No, actually came in at 6. Okay, I got his verified measurement. I'm sorry. 6012, verified per Jim Nagy, 246 pounds, verified with a 33.28 on the arms. So good arm length. This is a guy who's rangy, sideline to sideline, can make plays in the run game. Talking about instinctive, savvy, slow until you know. Okay, but he has that burst, short area burst, where guys, when you have that level of athleticism, you can slow play things because once you flip the switch and you click it, you can go downhill. You can go. And you get downhill in a hurry, quickly, fast. That's what Demetrius Knight is going to bring. I think he's got a shot of being LB1 in this class. And I think this is the process. People are going to love his tape. You're going to see some things he's got to work on. Coverage is going to be big for him. How does he handle coverage? Don't get lost in coverage. Don't be flat-footed in coverage. But that's going to be a big thing for him. So I think he can absolutely boost his stock and potentially stamp himself as LB1. But the guy that I want you all real quick to remember and definitely check out, and this was a guy I really liked this summer, Tyrene Powell from Rutgers. 6'5", 250, huh? 6'5", 250 as an off-ball backer. Somebody is doing something a little different here. 47 tackles, 58 tackles on the season. He drops off in the coverage well. This is a guy that blitzes through the A gaps and everything. He puts pressure downhill. He plays the run. He uses his arm length and his body type to be able to clear himself from being engulfed by offensive linemen so they don't wash him down the line of scrimmage. He plays with a great motor. This edge and a linebacker group, guys, a good crop of prospects that you need to know. I'm excited to see all those guys. Donovan Ezeroku, Tyrene Powell, Demetrius Knight, Mike Green. I'm looking forward to seeing those guys. Okay, I'm looking forward to seeing how these guys maneuver, how they move, the athletic profiles, of course, Princely Umami Yellen. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing all of it. But guys, listen, coming up next, we're going to get into the defensive line, right? Deion Walker, we've talked about. But who else is here that you need to know? Of course, I'm going to tell you. Coming up next. Super Bowl 59 is here. One game, two teams, endless possibilities. And there's no better way to make every play more exciting than with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Whether it's predicting the first touchdown, calling the MVP, or even betting on the coin toss, FanDuel makes it easy to get in on the action. With live betting all game long, you can adjust your bets as the game unfolds and feel the thrill from the kickoff to the final whistle. The live betting feature lets you stay involved no matter what happens on the field. The app is super easy to navigate. Plus, knowing that you can place a $5 bet and potentially win $200 back in bonus bets for the Super Bowl, that's icing on the cake. Download the app or head over to FanDuel.com to join today and get started. Bet just $5, and if you win, you'll score $200 back in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com to get started. Bet with FanDuel, official partner of Super Bowl 59. Interior defensive line or defensive lineman that you need to be watching down in Mobile. Guys, I'm telling you right now, we've talked about the 6'7", 340-pound, 45, 350-pound Deion Walker run game, pass rush drills, all of those things. I just can't wait to see his frame and see him in person, see how, like, what 6'7", 345, what does that look like? Just really see him up close and personal down here today on the first day of practice. Things that I'm looking for with him again. I want to see that hand usage. I want to see his process, man. I think I remember a couple years ago, Perrion Winfrey out of Oklahoma in the Big 12 came down here and he wrecked shop, right? He wrecked shop. This was a guy that in the Big 12 at Oklahoma, they use him as like a 1 tech, a 0 tech. He's like 305, 310 pounds or whatever that he may have been at the time. And it's like, you look at him and you see a 3 tech in the NFL, right? I think he was built similar to Jalen Carter, from Georgia, who plays for the Eagles, who are going to the Super Bowl. Shout out to them. I think at that time he kind of fit that same mold, that attacking, downhill, gap penetrating, one-on-one winner from the 3 tech spot. But they played him all over the defensive line. We saw him come to the Senior Bowl. The coaches put him in that one position where he can thrive, and he dominated. He had a great week. I think the same thing could be the case for Deion Walker. Remember, guys, this is a former first-round pick. This is a guy that we were expecting to be a first-round pick, and not just first-round, top 15 at one point. Okay? Oh, how the mighty have fallen, they say, but redemption is always possible. So I think this is an opportunity for Deion Walker to get away from that Kentucky scheme, get away from the coaches that were not putting him in the most advantageous opportunities for his draft stock, and now he can redeem himself and be part of the Redeem Team, Dame's Redeem Team. You heard about the Dream Team, Dame's Redeem Team. I think he can do that down here as well. A guy I'm excited to see is Cam Jackson from Florida. I think Cam, a big guy, strong, physical, good arm length. This is a guy I want to see against this offensive line group that we have down here, right? 6'6", listed at 6'6", 340 pounds. Yeah. Yes, this is a big boy, man. Big boy, big guy, and on the season, 2 sacks, 13 pressures. The thing I'm looking forward to seeing is that verticality in the run game. I want to see that. Look for that, guys, right? When you're 6'6", long arms, physical, powerful at the point of attack, reset the line of scrimmage, put those offensive tackles on their heels. And yes, do you need to have the Deion Walker hands, the Latu hands as the interior defensive lineman? No, you don't. What you need to be able to do is use that power, use that arm length, that wingspan. If you have a good enough first step, use it to your advantage. Put them in chaos, create chaos, wreak havoc, put them in conflicting situations, make them, and that's when like just at least having a few counters in your bag helps you out. Simply because of the fact of, okay, if you got a few counters, when you sell the power, the two-hand bull rush, right? The power push, those things, right? If you start using those power maneuvers, and then they start to squat and they start to try and get ready to anchor to counter that. Little double hand swipe, a little swipe with the swim move, a little club rip, a little something finesse, little finesse moves. You do that, and now you clear their shoulder, and you're immediately in the face of the quarterback. And at 6'5", 6'6", we'll get the verified measurement soon. When that happens, yeah, guys, like it's hard to deal with, and quarterbacks don't like big guys to be in their face. They do not like the big 6'5", 6'6" guys to be in their face, because that's going to obstruct their point of view, their vision to throw the ball. Now they're trying to, for one, break away, get free, things of that nature. Another guy on this defensive line group that I think he can move his stock up a lot from Nebraska, Ty Robinson, right? 6'6", 310 pounds. Crazy enough, this guy off the season, 25 hurries, 11 QB hits, 1 forced fumble, 6 sacks. When I look at his game, he's played all along the defensive line for Nebraska this year. He played in the A gap, the B gap, over the tackle, like 5 tech, even outside the tackle at some 6, maybe some 7. Like, he's out there and he does different things for the defensive line. I personally believe he's that that B to C gap, that 2-eye, 3 tech, maybe some 4-eye in the odd front, and 5 tech in the odd front. I think this is a scheme versatile guy in a sense. And I don't think he has to be in one specific defensive alignment or defensive front. I don't think he has to be in the even front. I don't think he has to be in an odd front. I think this is a guy that offers you multiplicity and versatility to your defensive line. And I think if you take him and you put him where he needs to be, and I think this is one of those chess pieces on the defensive line with his motor, with the guys. I'm telling you, I know it's Colorado, and I understand. Put that tape on. When they beat Colorado early in the season, it wasn't because of Dylan Raiola and the offense. It wasn't. It was because of that defense. And that defense had Shedeur Sanders off kilter. They rattled him. They disrupted the entire flow of that offense. He was whooping. He was beating up on their interior offensive linemen, and putting so much pressure in the backfield, jumping screen passes. And he came out there with a point to prove. And I love to see guys come out with the mentality of, I am going to dominate this matchup. I'm supposed to dominate this matchup. I want to see him in the one-on-ones, guys. Look for him in the one-on-ones. Ty Robinson for Nebraska, 6'6", 310. Look for him. You know what I mean? Look for him on film, on the broadcast. If they're broadcasting it this year, I think this should be on NFL Plus or whatever they use for NFL.com and everything. If they're still going to stream it live, look for him in the one-on-ones with the offensive lineman. Against those interior guys, I want to see how quickly he wins. I want to see if the arm length, the power, the first step quickness, those things, if he uses them to his advantage and really allow himself to push these guys back and force these interior offensive linemen into some, let's just say, not so great predicaments, right? Like, put them on their heels, put them on their heels, and make them have to play, trying to recover. Aeneas Peoples from Virginia Tech, 6'1", 290, a guy that is 3 tech, like, she's kind of shorter, squattier 3 tech, but talking about pinning your ears back, go get the quarterback. Yes, out of Virginia Tech. Aeneas Peoples is another interior defensive lineman that we must watch. Of course, Alfred Collins, the Texas guys, Alfred Collins and Vernon Broughton, physical, strong guys that reset the line of scrimmage. I think Vernon Broughton also gives you upside in the pass rush game, but also not just in the pass rush game. You talk about just the kind of his athleticism, right? We saw some good stuff from him throughout the college football playoffs before they lost to the eventual champions in Ohio State, 6'4", 305. I think you think about teams like the New York Giants and different teams like that, the Carolina Panthers, like guys who need that you have a big defensive tackle. You just need that other guy that can collapse the pocket, rush the passer, stuff the run. Vernon Broughton and Alfred Collins both bring that as well, guys. But we're going to close this thing up with the defensive backs on the next topic, guys. Listen, safeties, corners, you never have enough. In a league that wants to prioritize passing the football, you never have enough. So we're going to get into the defensive backs that I'm excited to see, that you need to watch starting today in practice for here from the Reese Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama. That's coming up next. As a small business owner, your work doesn't end when the clock hits 5. Your business is always on your mind, which means it's time to hire. You need a partner that works just as hard as you do. That's where LinkedIn comes in. When you clock out, LinkedIn clocks in. LinkedIn makes it easy to post your job for free, share it with your network, and get qualified candidates all in one place. Post your job. LinkedIn's new feature can help you write job descriptions and then quickly get your job in front of the right people with deep candidate insights. And here's a pro tip. Add the hashtag hiring frame to your profile picture to double your reach to qualified candidates. No wonder 72% of small businesses say LinkedIn helps them find high quality hires. Guys, you don't want to pass up on a deal like this. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnfl. That's linkedin.com/lockedonnfl to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day. Shout out for being our everydayers, guys. Defensive backs that you must keep your eyes on down here in Mobile for the 2025 Reese Senior Bowl. And I have to start with a corner I think could be on the rise. Ole Miss's 6'1", 190-pound corner that transferred from Alabama, Trey Amos. On the season, this young man played good ball. He only allowed 2 touchdowns in coverage, and both of those were before week 6 of the season. So that tells you he went from week 6 all the way to the bowl game undefeated, okay? Giving up 0 touchdowns ever since that. But 3 interceptions, 10 PBUs. I think teams that want to play a lot of and heavy man-to-man, I think they're going to love this young man. I think they're going to absolutely love what he brings. I remember watching him at Bama. Remember Bama played last year in the SEC championship game in 2023 going into the 2024 CFP, the last time we had 4 teams. Bama played Georgia, and he was at the line of scrimmage jamming the life out of, I think it was like Dylan Bell and some of those other receivers that Georgia had. And those guys weren't prepared for him. They weren't prepared to watch this young man just get up in their grill and make life difficult. They weren't prepared for that. This young man gets after it. He's physical. I love what he brings to the table. You know what I mean? Listen, we talk about it all the time. Keith is because his time at LSU, Keith loves the man-to-man stuff. And for me, I'm a big man-to-man guy as well. That's why for me, you asked me who was the best corner, Sauce Gardner or Derek Stingley. I had Derek Stingley because I know he could play cover 4. I know he could play some zone, but he's so much better in man than the process for him is better in man than it was for a guy like Sauce Gardner, who's more of a cover 3 type of corner. But I do love man-to-man. But in today's NFL, got to adapt with the information we have. Yeah, in today's NFL, they play more zone. It's a mixture. Truthfully, it's a mixture of both, right? You have teams that play a lot of cover 3. There's some cover 2, and then there's cover 2 man. And then you get a little bit of cover 0. You don't see a lot of cover 1 man as much anymore. The times have changed. The game has changed. So looking forward to seeing Trey Amos. And just for context, 35% of his coverage snaps has come in man coverage. He has 182 man coverage snaps. Okay. And for more context, let's look at the numbers here. He has not allowed, he's allowed 1 touchdown in man. And that 1 touchdown was 1 of 8 receptions on 23 targets for 83 yards. He has not allowed 100 yards in man coverage. He's allowed 3 yards of yak, yards after catch, 3 yards after the catch all season in man coverage. Okay, his average depth of target team, like quarterbacks, they test him vertically down the field, but they don't get a lot of success. He has 3 PBUs and an interception out of that, guys. I'm telling you now, Trey Amos out of Ole Miss, 6'1", 190. This young man he's going to give these receivers everything they can handle. I'm telling you right now, these receivers better be up to the task. They better be locked in. They better be ready because Trey Amos is 100% going to be up at the line of scrimmage. He's going to get into their grill. He's going to make life difficult, and I love to see it. If you remember, guys, early in the season, me and Keith are true everydayers. If you're an everydayer, pat yourself on the back because you're going to know this name. Oklahoma safety Billy Bowman. This is a guy that plays a lot all over. He plays all over the field. He plays almost 400 snaps at free safety. He over 180 snaps in the box as a +1 defender, and he has over 150 snaps in the slot. This young man has had the ability to get his hands on the football. This year, 2 interceptions, 2 PBUs. He's allowed 4 total touchdowns within coverage. But he's only allowed 131 yards all season, 7 yards per reception. Longest was of 28 yards. He's only been penalized, 5 times in his career? Only 5? That's incredible. Man, this young man is intelligent. He's instinctive. He's super smart, man. And he's just going to be where he needs to be. 11 interceptions in his career. The last 3 years, 11 interceptions, 9 PBUs. And I think when you look at him, he's 5'10", 200 pounds. Billy Bowman Jr. out of Oklahoma. I look at it from the aspect of this young man is going to get the job done. He's going to get the job done. You know, we look at these safety nickel hybrids, the Brian Branches, the Chauncey Gardner-Johnsons, those guys, like we see it at the NFL level, man, and we see it at a strong and high rate. And guys like Billy Bowman, they have purpose. They have a reason to be there. It's a reason that guys like Billy Bowman Jr. and then Andrew Makuba, right? One of my favorite safeties in this class from Texas. Andrew Makuba is an absolute dog. He is physical when he needs to be, but he's super instinctive, works hard in the classroom, studying film, working out away from the facility, away from the team, learning about players. 6 foot, 190 pounds. He will hit you. He will punch you in the mouth physically. He allowed, again, targeted 23 times, 10 receptions for 74 yards all season long. 0 touchdowns allowed, 6 PBUs, and guys, guess what? 5 interceptions. You think about, and I'm not saying do this because I don't want the Chiefs to get any better than they already are. But could you imagine Andrew Makuba in a Steve Spagnuolo, a.k.a. Spags, defense? Guys, what are we like, come on. Do you feel that if we got a guy like with Andrew Makuba in one of those creative defensive coordinators, like secondary, if he got drafted to the right situation, one of those guys, Spags. I do like Sean McDermott. I think he could be a little bit more creative. He should be, at least in my opinion. Mike McDonald, man, over with the Seattle Seahawks. I just think, man, a guy like Andrew Makuba, where they show you so much pre-snap, and then next thing you know, I always say, listen, show a quarterback a Hawaii beach, right? Pre-snap. Show him that. And then show him hell, right? Give him hell. Give him a picture of hell, what hell looks like post-snap. Where they're holding the ball, they're second guessing, they're not trusting anything they see or anything that's happening or going on. I absolutely think, without a shadow of a doubt, guys, I truly believe that Andrew Makuba would be a perfect fit for those type of teams and schemes, and just allow him to roam and make plays, man. I love this young man's game. But guys, that's the today's show, right? Pre-practice show for day 1 here at the Senior Bowl, guys. Coming up afterwards, later on tonight into the morning, we will have basic updates. We will have our reactions, recaps of what happened, our money makers, bag fumblers. For those who are new, it's called Stock Up, Stock Down, with a little bit of flavor. We're going to give all of that later on tonight in this evening. After practices are over, Keith will be back and everything because, and whatnot. He was traveling in a little bit late. But, guys, thank you so much for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day shot, for being our everydayers. Go follow us on Twitter, especially me, DP_NFL. You can find Locked On NFL Draft as at LO_NFL Draft. And, guys, thank you so much. Come and join the conversation again tomorrow on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.